TNR Group A Championship here at Fuji in Japan. Our championship has already been settled, champion being Graham, who has driven excellently all season round, helped in part by Josh dropping out mid-season, but not to take anything away from Graham, he's done a fantastic job. He's got perhaps 10 wins, and he has been the absolute star of the season. Mark's done a good job at the moment in second place and pretty unlikely to get toppled from that. And it is Graham and Mark who start on the front row, so Graham to the right of the screen as you look at it, with Mark alongside in the red, white and blue BMW. We've got that fast Datsun starting in third place. We'll see how he does. It was Oz who was fastest in practice, starting all the way in seventh place. The lights are on for the penultimate time this season, or got 3 races left rather. There's contact at the back, but it's the Datsun that goes left, right, and flies into the lead, pulling alongside Graham. Mark did not get a good start at all. Mark's got some way back to 4th place now, and Andy's already run wide, and he's lost that opportunity, but he might get it back as they head down the straight towards the left-hand bend. I don't think he can quite do it. Graham's got the position, and he's got the better braking. Lee is trying to challenge for second place with Andy at the moment in the blue BMW, trying it on the Datsun. And we'll just have a look at that. It's a real tussle actually over second place. Lee takes second place, gets past Andy. Mark thinks about it, thinks better of it as they go into the left-hand bend, but he might get it on the exit as Graham gets it, as Andy gets it all wrong rather. And now we've got Oz coming up from near the back of the grid. He was on the back row, and he is now up to 3rd position. Excellent driving from Oz Phillips. What a start, and what a start. He's gone for a good result here, I'm sure. But Graham, this year's champion, or this season's champion, is out front and pulling that lead over Lee. Oz needs to get his driving and his mojo together as soon as possible, and he might be able to challenge for second or maybe even the win. He's managed to get through the tight twisty stuff, and that's the tricky stuff for the Porsche. And we'll go on board because this car was setting the speed traps alight in practice, 200 miles per hour at the top end of the straight, and here he is in the slipstream. He's pulled past Lee already, flown past Lee, and Graham is but a speck on the horizon, but slowly, very quickly catching up. 200 miles an hour hit just there. Fantastic stuff, and Ozzy's got it slowed down beautifully. And just looking a little bit further back, there's a big battle going on for that final podium slot. Lee holds on to it for now, just ahead of Andy in that monstrous Datsun, and Mark is in 5th place at the moment. Dugamus having a quiet race in 6th, Diesel running 7th in the Ford, and Bad Robot at the back in the other Ford. But Graham has the advantage at the moment, 1.2, 1.3, 1.5 seconds over Oz Phillips, so that gap will be fluctuating a bit depending where on track they are, but it's down to a second now, less than a second, and it does look like a matter of time as we go back on board in the Porsche. He's having an absolutely stellar run today, and it's the best showing of the season. He's had some good results already. Don't forget those 3 second places that Oz took at Zhuhai. He took 3 4th places at Sonoma, which wasn't the track so well suited. Graham gets a massive tank slapper in front, almost loses it, but the skill of that champion, and he holds it together. But it does look like a matter of time. There's half a second in it as we head through the final turn, the right-hander onto the very long straight. This straight about 1 kilometre long, and you'll see here just how quickly this man manages to get past the BMW. The BMW pulls out of the way to try and break that slipstream. I'm afraid, Graham, that's not going to work though, and here comes Oz, straight past. Graham's not looking too bad in the straight line considering, and he'll now pick up the toe of Oz Phillips. But can Oz take the victory? It'll be a first if he can. Graham's so late to the break, but Oz not looking too scrappy on the brakes at all, to be honest. And we're going to look a bit further back now that's over. Andy's fallen a long way back, so we didn't see what happened, but Lee maintains 3rd place. A great battle with Mark though at the moment. Mark's 2nd in the championship, but Mark, he cannot win the championship overall now, but he does want to hold on to the 2nd place in the championship. And I dare say he'd quite like to scalp Lee and see if he can get on the podium in this race, but it's not really required to finish 2nd in the overall championship. Lee's in third place in the championship, so he's a man that could potentially beat Mark to that second place overall, but it's very, very unlikely. Mark would have to DNF in all 3 races really to make that viable. And they're almost side by side as they head into the slightly more complex sector 3 on the circuit. I can tell you out front, Oz has pulled a 4-second advantage already over Graham, and actually Graham really struggling, because there is Graham, and we'll go on board with Mark, the third of this trio of close running BMWs, that obviously not to get Douglas is running just behind, and Graham's not had a good lap at all. Lee's had a very good one, Mark's had a very good one, and they're putting the pressure on the champion. We'll see how close Lee can get. Now this is probably why, look at the setup difference, these are all the same car, don't forget. Graham's car extraordinarily fast on the straight from BMWs, but the handling has possibly gone on to top as a result. We go back to track side, didn't see where Douglas was in relation to all of them. Douglas is caught right up on all of them, so this is going to be a 4-way battle over second position before long, and it's a gaggle of BMWs. Oz is up and away. He's done a 138.7, these guys doing in the 140s. There was just no way these guys can even touch them. And Lee maintains third place for now, Graham maintains that second position, but Dugamus has got up and past Mark. Mark must have had a spin, because he's dropped a long way back. Apologies for missing that off of the footage there. The Andy's Datsun, which I expected to be an absolute rocket ship round here, turns out to be an absolute sack of shit round here, and that's running down in 6th at the moment and looking really, really tricky to drive, as it has done at every race track so far this season. Diesel actually looking more comfortable, we say, as he gets a bit of a sideways slide on in that Ford. Bad Robot's quite a way behind actually, running in 8th at the moment. There we go, we can see Oz with that massive advantage. And it's just a battle of the BMWs for that second place, really, for the remainder of the podium slots over second and third. You can see Douglas just behind. We'll take a quick look at Douglas. He's not had any particularly notable or good results in recent meetings. He didn't join us for Sonoma, and he's not had a podium actually since the very first meeting, where he took 3 podiums in a day. And here comes Dugamus, he's trying it on, and he's got it, he's up to third position. This could be the first podium for Dugamus in a long time, but he goes deep, he goes very, very deep, and Lee is back alongside, and Lee retakes that third position. So Dugamus just overdoing it a little bit, looking like Dugamus' car is set up a bit quicker in a straight line. So we'll watch this battle and see how it plays out in the remaining laps. 3 laps left to run. Oz's gap now up to 11 seconds over Graham. Nothing Graham can do. Graham actually setting a pretty decent lap on last lap around, going quickest out of the BMWs, but Douglas is still trying to put pressure on the back of Lee. Lee's had a good season, don't forget 2 wins already, and a plethora of podiums, a brace of podiums he's had, and he'll be keen to add another one to that tally. But Douglas having a really, really good run. I think we'll go on board with Douglas as we head into the final turn. Lee actually now catching on Graham again though, so Graham's had a poor sector 3 there, but we've seen how quick Graham's car is on the straight. I don't think there's going to be anything Lee can do about it. We'll just pop on board with Lee quickly, as that is a little bit closer. But look, over the so under the gantry 167, Lee doing 160, Douglas going really, really fast, picking up that double toe. That's the fastest speed I've seen of any BMW all weekend so far, over 180 miles per hour. Again, helped by the toe, and he gets the car slowed down much better. Now that's going to put him back into contention for a podium. It'll be really interesting to see out of these 3 who takes those final 2 podiums, because only 2 of those guys out of those 3 are going to finish on the podium, thanks to Oz leading this race by an absolute monster of a margin. But Dugamus has gone wide, and that's really not the time to do it. Dugamus, hold it together. You've got a couple of laps left to go, and if you're going to get on that podium, you're going to have to drive the wheels off that thing, but keep it on the track most critically. Mark's not many miles behind, but after what I suspect is a spin, he's a bit out of contention here. But the battle is now back on between Lee and Graham. And Graham's lost it! Graham's lost it big style. Lee goes into them. Oh, Dugamus gets through. Dugamus up to second position. That was really, really unfortunate, and that was all spurred by the champion hitting the curb a little bit too hard and just losing the car, and Lee had nowhere to go. And all of a sudden this has brought Mark back into play. Mark now up to third position. Excellent stuff. And this has turned into a bit of a topsy-turvy race. We've got Dugamus up to second place, and well earned, to be honest. And he's got one lap to hold on to that. All he's got to do is drive a sensible final lap. There's no way he's going to beat this man for the victory, but I can see Dugamus getting second place, and Oz just streaming off into the sunset. Some 3 seconds, 2-3 seconds quicker than the rest of the guys. Dudes is miles ahead of the other BMWs, or not quite comparative to the gap between first and second, but he's got a good advantage. And now it's Graham and Lee still fighting, but this time over third position after coming together with one another. Nobody really at fault. Graham completely lost it, bounced over the curb, knocked the car sideways, and Lee just had nowhere to go in that blue BMW. Went into him, and the cars were just stuck together. Meanwhile, Dugamus says thanks very much and sneaks past both of them. Andy, for some reason, with his wipers on. I'm not sure that's going to speed you up around here, Andy, but you can give it a go. Dugamus driving very sensibly and looking very likely to hold on to that second, but this is where the battle is at. We're going to go on board with Graham and see whether he can do anything in the closing stages of this race. It's lap 7 of 7. We're in the final third, the final sector of the lap, and this is all about handling the section, which I expect Lee's going to be a little bit better at, because Graham seems to be set up so much for a straight line, and there you can see Lee is pulling. Now Lee needs to pull a decent gap coming into the final corner and up the straight, because Graham's car is just so much faster, and we're going to watch on board. But I can tell you, Oz Phillips has won his first race of the season. He's already at the end of the straight. Dugamus in second place, excellent stuff. Lee in third. Graham is not going to manage fourth position, so it is Oz Phillips, Dugamus, Lee an excellent third, Graham fourth. Mark takes fifth place after a very topsy-turvy race. He could have been on the podium, but that's unfortunate for Mark. Andy in sixth, not gelling with that car at all in this. Diesel takes seventh place, not too far behind, and our runners will be completed when Brad Robot comes out the final corner in the Ford, the second of the Fords, in 8th position. He comes out the final corner, runs wide, and heads up the start finish straight. So, a confirmation of your results is the first Porsche win, and Oz Phillips' first win this season. Excellent stuff. Look at that, a 1:37.5 ahead of Dugamus and Lee completing the podium. The champion this season, Graham, finishes fourth after that, with Mark in fifth place, Andy in the Datsun in sixth, and Diesel and Bad Robot completing the finishes in their Fords.